Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I am proud to be the workhorse champion that Anime Out of Context needs.
I'm Sean Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Merry Christmas, Rem!
Oh, I can feel the jingling in your balls as we speak.
Ah, man, if only you knew how relevant that was to a specific anime this season.
What the fuck? Excuse me?
Don't worry, we'll cover it eventually. Maybe with some other folks. Yeah, hey, look, man, it's complicated. It's much simpler than you'd think, but there's some complexity to it. But don't worry, Rem. That's okay. That's not what we're here to talk about today. Today is our lovely Christmas episode, Rem. Though, by the time everybody listens to this, it will be the 28th. Whoopsie. Sorry. That's just the way these things go.
It's either, look, when Christmas falls in the middle, like it does, between episodes, we either do it a little bit before or a little bit after. Damned if we do, damned if we don't. The thing is, it's here now.
Yes, it's here now. And, we don't always cover a super Christmassy show for our Christmas special because what we like to do, and we have been doing for the past couple of years, is essentially a Patreon riot of an episode where in order to secure some charity for a variety of things, primarily for our local aviary here, the Tracy Aviary, we have our patrons change their usernames to be the anime they request with a specific keyword. And this year, people fucking smashed it, man. Like, so many people put it in, and the lovely Farmer Weeb is going to be donating double what he initially promised because in our pre-banter, Remington successfully did the WWE quiz that was set before him. Not only that, he did it twice and smashed it the second time. So, Rem, because of your efforts, the birds are getting double what they would have gotten if you hadn't been as successful at some WWE quiz.
Yeah, truly, shout out to Farmer Weeb for the extremely charitable donations, both that he's made in the past and that he's prepared to make this year, because our patrons, they've been loud about it. They have hopped on, and man, the support is crazy.
Yeah. And Rem, this year is gonna be the wildest one yet.
Okay, all right.
Because in previous years, we've had long-requested revisits.
Yeah.
As well as long-requested shows that we just haven't covered at all. And, that's been pretty standard. This time, we're getting a highly requested show, but not because of the show itself.
Let me tell you everything I know about this show, all right?
All right.
So it's got a character named Misaka.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, hey, Rem! You nailed it! I'm so proud of you!
That's been... I've known about, that one little piece of the puzzle for literal years at this point, solely
Correct.
Because of Patreon names.
Yep.
And so it'll be interesting to finally, after all this time, understand it.
Yeah, and Rem, here's the thing. I'm going to be introduced... There's a reason I hadn't done the show previously. And that'll be very clear what that is in just a moment. But it is a show that people wanted you to see so you could just understand the meme. Half of the people are like, he's probably not going to like this. Other half of people are like, if he likes it, that'll be cool. And
that doesn't seem wildly I noticed that neither of those categories were, I really think that Remington's gonna enjoy themselves. It was either
the Misakas in the audience are really hoping that you'll like it. Let me just tell you that right now.
Well, yeah, they could be hoping, but you've yet to be and so many people think within their heart of hearts and truly believe with all their brain that you will like it based on everything you've said before. You haven't said that.
It's true. But what I will say, Rem, is that what we're doing today is giving this show the best chance it has.
Okay.
For two reasons. One, so you understand the reference that's being made.
Yes.
And two, Rem, Well, I'll tell you right now. Rem, the anime we're watching today is simply titled Otoaru Kaku no Railgun S, otherwise translated as A Certain Scientific Railgun S. All right?
Okay.
And normally on this show, we like to start from the beginning.
Yes.
Rem, we are starting with season 2.
So I knew that we were going to be doing this.
Yes.
Because I have the power of reading comprehension.
Yes, and a bunch of people spoiled it in the Patreon reads, but it's okay. It's for the birds.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was pretty overt, but but the why is the thing that I...
So the main why is because a lot of people really like season 2, and also the reference that people have been making, it appears in season 2.
Okay, 2 things.
Yes.
You keep saying reference. Isn't it just a character?
It's multiple characters.
What do you mean?
When I explain the plot, you'll understand. You'll understand. But there's something you need to know about the show before we even go into it.
More than one Misaka?
Yes.
What the hell?
That's why we have a bunch of Misakas saying Misaka likes this.
No, but
You just assumed it was one Misaka? No. There are multiple. But I'll get into it. First, you need a little bit of background, because you might be thinking to yourself, okay, season 2, that's a bit weird. Why would you ever show somebody a show like 1 or 2 seasons, or even potentially 3 seasons into the show? Because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Never been done before. And of course, that is strange. But you have long had the theory that sometimes you can skip the majority of a first season of a show, get straight into the second season of a show, and be just fine watching it.
Sure, I have provided that theory in select specific examples.
Exactly. So this is a great time this holiday season for you to hard check your theory.
Okay, well, one second. My theory, let's be abundantly clear. My hypothesis is not that for literally any show, you can skip the first season and it's fine.
I don't know, that's what it sounded like to me, Rem.
That's just because y'all basic bitches can't listen, all right? What I've been saying is that for specific series that we have covered on the podcast, for many of them, you can skip either many episodes, most of the first season, or the entire first season, and you will be okay. Now this is not a wildly generalizable principle, Sean.
Okay. Well, hey, this might make you feel a little better. This is a superpower type battle show.
Okay.
And you first theorized this in your My Hero Academia episode.
Sure. Once again, it's not a general theory. It was...
I don't know. It feels pretty general to me,
critiquing the show we were talking about.
Well, Rob, we're just putting things to the test. That's all.
No, see, what that feels like is your way to make me dislike something and be like, oh, but see, it's your fault when this isn't. I didn't do
it. No, Rem, I promise you, I'm doing this. They chose season 2 in good faith. Because, Rem, there's something that you really need to know about this show.
Okay.
Remington, we're not watching just watching the second season of a show. We're watching the second season of a spin-off of a completely different show.
What?
And wildly, people agree that the spin-off is better than the original show.
What the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, so, Rem, the thing that these two have in common are the worlds they're set in. A Certain Scientific Railgun is a spin-off series that it takes place kind of simultaneously with its sister series, A Certain Magical Index.
All right, now here's the crazy thing, Sean.
Yes.
I've heard many weebs talk about A Certain Scientific Railgun, all right? That's vaguely in my mind.
Yes.
I don't know if, until this point, I had ever heard of the other thing you said.
Certain Magical Index. And yeah, if anything proves that statement more than anything else, it's that statement. So yeah, no, A Certain Magical Index came out first. And it's about, so the thing that you gotta understand is the world itself. It is a world filled with basically scientifically created espers.
Okay, sure.
Psychic people. And it's very much a semi-futuristic society built around the fact that, hey, people can have these special psychic abilities and they can train them and they can use them in everyday life as well as in, just general. It's superhero society, but a bit more specific, essentially. A Certain Magical Index is a story about that exact world with our main character and discovering actual magic. So the other power system in this series is just actual magic. So a certain magical index is like the wrench in the plans being thrown into this super sci-fi psychic world, and a certain magical index is all about the hidden magic side of society and the problems that it causes. All right?
Okay.
So you might be thinking to yourself, okay, why are we watching the spin-off sequel series?
Yes.
Well, that's because people widely prefer this one, and because the main character in it is just more interesting by a lot of people's opinions.
Is the main character Misaka?
Yes.
Okay. Or I guess one iteration of Misaka.
Correct. Yes. The main character of the show is Mikoto Misaka.
Are we doing cloning, time travel, multiple dimensions? How are we getting multiple Misakas up in this bitch?
Well, yeah, I mean, when we're talking about a sci-fi spinoff, it's got to be cloning.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Yeah, and that actually brilliantly ties into what the plot of the second season is. The first season, I don't need to give you too much information. Misaka is a character that we saw a handful of times in Magical Index. People like her. She was kind of introduced as, like, you know, a potential love interest for the main dude, but, you know, like that, just the way these things go. But people liked her so much that her being her own main character made a lot of sense, and they spun it off. And Season 2 is all about her and her little friend group investigating some troubling rumors across Academy City, because, of course, you know, it's an Academy City, futuristic, gotta have that trope. And unfortunately, one of the things that they discover is that horrific experiments are taking place that involve murders of thousands of espers.
Oh, okay.
And most of these espers are clones of Misaka.
Oh.
Because Misaka is one of the strongest espers of her generation. She is called the Railgun because she essentially uses magnetic force to fling things at impossibly high speeds.
All right. So, you know, it's a little bit like Lilo and Stitch, the series, but replace all the aliens with just all Stitch.
Kind of, yeah.
They're all Stitch now.
Yes.
And you gotta go find and save all of the different U's.
Yep. And essentially, the whole premise of this season 2 is figuring out what the fuck is going on and trying to stop it, especially since, you know, they're clones of her. So clearly she feels like she has a responsibility and she's somehow involved in all of this.
Okay.
And yeah, that's the story of it. That's all I can really give you. You might occasionally see a glimpse of the main character from the Magical series. It's a spiky-haired, generic, bland bitch protagonist. You don't need to worry about him. Like, he at most makes cameos in this show. Thank God.
Is season 2 more popular than season 1?
Yes.
All right, so they created a series, right? And whatever, it's largely lost the fucking passage of time, at least compared to what followed it. And then they start off this new series. All right, more popular, but really, even this new series, it's season 2 that people really care about.
I mean, people liked the first series. Don't get me wrong. It's just that, you know, sometimes shows really pick up in a second season.
Sure.
Yeah, no, like, people genuinely liked the original adaptation of this. And it's just interesting because the first season aired in 2009. The second season aired in 2013.
Oh, okay, wow.
So a little bit of a gap.
Yeah.
But enough of a gap that they were able to clean up a lot of things and make it just better animated overall. So, you know, pretty straightforward.
This feels like it could be enjoyable, and I'm hoping, you know, it's our Christmas episode. I'm feeling holly, I'm feeling jolly, and this whole time I'm still jingling Sean's bells. So let's do it, baby.
I didn't realize you were a grandmother, Rem. But yeah, no. And since you did it, I have to say, you're watching 8 episodes.
All right, okay.
Saying that live in the podcast so people know that I'm keeping my promises. 8 episodes, just so you can understand the core premise of everything and the plot itself, as well as meeting some of the Misaka clones. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Let's go watch a certain scientific Railgun S, all for the birds and all for Christmas. And we are back after watching 8 whole episodes of the hit 2013 anime, A Certain Scientific Railgun S. That being the second season of the Certain Scientific Railgun franchise. And Rem, we watched those 8 episodes also you could finally understand a joke that's been going on in our Patreon reads for literal years. And
Truly years, and hey, now I understand.
Yeah. So Rem,
kind of. I mostly understand. I understand that it happens. I don't understand really why it happens.
Well, hey, things are complicated. It's a weird little sci-fi superhero series, so some things get a little convoluted. But let's just say that from the era that this was popular, it was quite the meme. You know how anime fans are. Once they get a meme they like, oh man, do they latch on, and they never let go. Trust me, I know.
Don't I know? Yeah.
Okay.
Say.
Hey, Rem, careful. This is the holiday special after all. So the question is did watching this show from the second season benefit or make your whole experience worse?
Sean, look.
Okay.
You look at me, Sean. What color would you say I am?
Well, Rem. It's got to be said, Rem. You and I are very similar in the fact that we are both white as fuck.
We're both white as fuck. Certainly not green.
No,
certainly,
no.
I'm not green, so I can't be the Grinch. That's not on the table.
Well, that's true, but Rem, do you know who else is white?
I just want to clarify that I'm not here to ruin Christmas for everyone.
I don't know, Rem, but you know who else is white?
Who?
Scrooge.
Yeah, but he's old. See, and I'm in my youthful prime. So
is
I'm
that what you call it?
I'm neither old nor green, and thus I can't spoil Christmas. That's science. Those are facts.
Oh, Rem. Let me just dissuade some of your thoughts real quick. Most people thought you weren't going to be having a good time with this show. They mostly just wanted you to understand their references. They still love the show, right. And I'm okay with the show. But people weren't going into this thinking, oh yeah, we're giving him the best chance he can, and he's gonna love it. No. It was mostly them wanting to make sure they understood a reference. After all, it's been heavily requested for years, as well as, just like the vague sliver of a chance that maybe something in your rock hard iron soul will crack and you will feel that Christmas warmth of a pretty harmless shonen sci-fi superpower show.
Sure, and I don't want to give the wrong impression. I think that this show is not bad, not actively bad, but it is very flawed. It has a solid core, a solid center. It's just that branching away from that center and largely to do with the execution of that core where some issues arise.
Yes.
So, well, let's start talking about it, all right? And there's going to be something, well, we'll get there. So, we meet Kuroko, which is Misaka's sister, and she helps out one of her friends who's being followed by delinquents. But then
man, I hate to correct you immediatly, but she's not actually her sister.
Oh my god.
That's just the relationship they have.
What the where was I supposed to get anything else?
Season 1.
Fuck you! It begins! All that I know is that they're sisters. Because that is the only way they communicate to one another.
Oh, God.
Which then for me makes it worse because there's some heavy incest going on. Or at least one directional obsessional incest. Kroko views Misuka as an older sister and so badly wants to fuck her.
Yeah.
So badly. It is literally, that is Kuroko's trait. That is the defining trait of Kuroko. There's just not a lot else.
Yeah, so nope, they are not actually related. They don't even live together. She just admires her so much that, slaps the big sister title on her.
Is admire the word to use? Is that the appropriate word to use here?
I mean, if you prefer me to use the phrase down bad on a Sunday afternoon, then sure, but like...
I feel like that's more accurate, is all I'm saying. I feel like that is more representative of the feelings felt.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I just needed to clarify that they're not actually related, so you're good.
So Kuroko can teleport and teleports to save her friend from the delinquents, but then Misuka shows up, extreme lightning powers, bada bing bada bam, fucks up the delinquents, there we go. Then we get a little bit of this ESP superpower school that they attend, and there's this like popular girl who has her own little clique, and with this clique she has a remote that can control people. Everyone except Misuka because of electrical interference.
Yeah.
And it's a weird vibe, which is gonna fit a lot of this show.
Oh yeah.
Because
1000%.
It's like, oh, a random mean girl who can control absolutely anybody, bend them to her will. And it's like, if the show views it as bad, but then like when she unpauses on the remote, everybody is just like, oh, that was weird. So it's difficult to find a footing what they're going for. And that's an ongoing theme. Maybe it would have helped, if I had seen season 1 at all. But the tone is inconsistent on a good day, is how I would describe that.
Yeah.
And so it's very difficult to sort of find my footing and be able to interpret it in certain ways, figure out how I even should interpret events when it's going back and forth so wildly.
Yeah. And for frame of reference, Rem, the story was originally started being written in 2007. So...
Oh, fuck.
So, like, this is a 2014 adaptation of a manga that got started in 2007. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what kind of time period we're actually working with here.
Yep.
And that'll definitely color a lot of the way things are presented.
And so it's like, oh, this popular girl with control powers. Very important. And then we don't see her again until fairly randomly for me. She shows up, I think, in like episode 8 or something. I think that's her. But now she has plush bombs. Is that the same girl?
Oh, Rem. It'd help if you had their name down.
I don't, because they weren't relevant.
They were relevant when they were introduced.
They were, all right, they had that introduction scene, and then we went 7 episodes! 7 episodes of never even touching on it. Like, they were like, hey, this is a really important scene setting up the rival. Anyway, and then they forgot about it. They forgot about it for 7 episodes. And then in episode 8, they show up again, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's them.
You think it's... God, I just love how baffled you are by this whole situation.
Okay, wait. So if I do plush bomb railgun, all right. Okay, the fucking Sparkle is Sparkle the popular bully. Who the fuck knows? I'm not finding shit.
Oh my god.
And the fact that you didn't give an immediate answer, you're clueless too.
I have to confess to you, Rem, I did the research for this one 2 months ago, so I can't remember off the top of my head.
You son of a bitch.
Well, look, I knew that this was going to be in the works, so I got it out of the way early. I don't think they're the same character, though, no.
Okay, cool. Then we just haven't seen this insane bully who can control people at will. Instead, we get a rando. I don't know.
Look, just because they're both blonde anime girls doesn't mean you need to discriminate, Rem.
they're both blonde anime girls that came out of nowhere, look very similar, and sure they have different powers, but I don't know what the fuck's going on right now. In episode 1, continuing, Misaka and some friends go to the hospital. It's attacked by some vague radicals that I'm sure I would understand. They're pseudo-radicals. I don't know what that means. It's probably in season 1. And the radicals kidnap a girl for a hostage, and Misaka saves them. Bada bing, bada bam. There's a moment where Misaka almost gets decapitated by a helicopter rotor, and that's just whatever. And then we go to episode 2. Also, something you're going to notice in my description of these episodes, all right?
Okay.
I'm not going to be talking about 50% of the show. Just a flat 50% or so, because this is 2 shows at the same time. I'll explain more of that when we get to episode 3.
Yeah. Oh, I should also clarify. I don't remember if I mentioned it in the first part, but do you know exactly how many episodes you missed, Rem?
I think this is like a 24 episode per season or something like that.
Correct. Yeah. So season 1 was 24 full episodes.
Yeah. And so episode 2, we get a little flashback of little child Misaka seeing a kid with muscular dystrophy and giving her DNA map to help dystrophy kid. It's crazy that 4-year-old can consent to giving away their genetic DNA, I guess.
Ah, man, that's the wonderful thing about this society is they really shouldn't be able to, but for some reason they allow it.
Yeah, I don't know, the parental situation, no fucking clue.
Not
what's
good.
going on there.
Not good, dog.
Right,
not
cool.
good. This is very much advanced dystopia level shit.
Sure. So there's a bunch of money cards in alleyways, and a woman's been leaving them, and she's found by some miscellaneous thugs. She spooks them, and tricks them into thinking she can kill them by touching them when she was just using anesthesia or something like that, and Misaka shows up and is impressed. Episode 3. Now we'll talk about why the last episode, my description was so short, and why this one will be even shorter.
Yep.
Most of episode 3, nothing is happening.
Yeah.
And by nothing, I mean, it's extremely slice of life, but not good slice of life. Y'all know that I am a slice of life supporter, all right? It's one of the most consistent genres that get thumbs up from me on this podcast. Certainly.
Yeah.
Because you just have interesting characters doing fun shit and vibing together. I can get down with that. All of Misaka's friends, which are all the slice of life elements, that genuinely take up 50% of the show on average, sometimes even more, they're fine, but they all blend together.
Yeah.
There are some differences, but they're just not notable enough, and they're never doing anything particularly interesting or funny or anything like that. And so the 50% of this show that is slice of life unfortunately falls flat on its face, and also takes down the other 50%, which is a dark action sci-fi mystery.
Yes.
It fucks up that tone quite a bit when they're like, holy shit, look at all of this carnage. Oh, silly faces. Oh, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? What the hell? What the? Why? Why do we have? These are not the same show. I don't know why they've been stitched together. Episode 3 is almost entirely meaningless slice of life stuff that isn't developing the characters. Like, once again, we've talked before, either on the podcast directly, maybe in a pre-banter, about our views on what like filler is, right?
Yeah.
And I argued that one of the defenses of filler is like, oh, it's nice to just have characters show off themselves and demonstrate their characterization, develop their characters and relationships further without necessarily moving the plot further. And I argued, well, that's not filler necessarily. If you're accomplishing a goal, even if it's not advancing the plot forward, if it's exploring the themes or building the relationships or developing the characters further, then even if it's more casual, that's not filler. This is all hardcore filler. There is nothing being accomplished here. I don't feel like I'm meaningfully understanding the characters more. I'm not even having fun. It's so boring. It's so fucking bland. Episode 3 is hot trash. But then, episode 3... Oh, wait, no, it's episode 4. Episode 4. We get to episode 4. That's hot trash. I'm sorry for saying all that shit about episode 3. It's episode 4 that's hot trash. They blend together for obvious reasons. Episode 4, hot trash, just bad slice of life nonsense. And then, in a post-credit scene that I'm lucky I even watched, because it's not one of those shows that everything has post-credits, right? The vast majority of episodes did not have post-credit scenes. This one did. And literally the only important thing happens in the post-credit scene. What the fuck? What the hell? Who decided on that? There's brief glimpses in episode 4. We see a clone of Miska essentially like being created and learning. And then in the post-credit scene, they casually tell this clone to clean up a room of massacred clones. Bloody massacred carnage, right? Why the fuck would you put that in the post-credit scene and you force me to be like, oh, hey, in the actual episode, look at Misaka. Oh man, she has so much free time. That's the premise of episode 4. She has so much free time. Who knows what she's gonna fill it with? She doesn't know what to do. She's kind of bored and doesn't know what to do with her free time. Motherfucker, why are you showing this to me? Why are you like, oh man, isn't it kind of boring? How do we fill this boring time? I don't give a shit. Don't force me to watch it.
Oh, God.
If you're acknowledging how boring it is, and then in the post-credit scene, you're like, holy shit, look at this mass murder. What kind of bullshit is that? It's the most baffling creative decision I've seen in a hot minute. It blows my mind. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking.
Oh, God. I mean, if you want somebody specific to blame, the studio that did this was a studio called JC Staff. We've covered a bunch of stuff from them before. They've been around a long ass time, since 1986, and because they're an older studio with a lot of properties under their wings, sometimes they have some great stuff, and sometimes they have some awful stuff, and other times they just have some really weird fucking decisions mixed in.
This show could have been condensed into a very interesting movie.
Oh, yeah. Like,
it should not have been 24 fucking episodes.
Well, I mean, there is still a third season.
But when by episode 4, you're like, we've run out of ideas. Our character's bored, and they're just figuring out how to not be bored. Motherfucker, it's episode 4. You can't be pulling it that early.
Yeah.
You can't look me in the eyes and say, we've run out of ideas, I'm sorry. That early!
Yeah, so, like, part of it is definitely has to do with the fact that, again, this is a 2007 story being adapted in 2014. 2014-2013 era is kind of the turning point where a lot of anime started to fully go seasonal, whereas this anime still tried to kind of hold on to some of the more old school shonen tropes, being like those very like filler-filled episodes to like pad out the runtime so they can get a full 24 episodes out of things. And I haven't read the manga or read the light novels, so I don't know exactly how much of this is one-to-one. But I can definitely tell you, when I watched it myself, a lot of the issues of the show felt like I was watching some super old-school anime, which, from a studio that's been around since the 80s and still hasn't, and was having a hard time figuring out exactly how to do a lot of things for a modern audience. This is an awkward teenage phase of a show. When it comes to
and it's so unfortunate because once again the core is a solid one. Have an extremely powerful and determined kind of loose cannon at times who they're creating so many clones of me, probably give better world building and lore on that front, but general idea, broad strokes.
Well, I mean, you did miss 24 episodes of the first season, so.
Well, sure, but what I've been presented in these 8 hasn't been stellar.
Right.
We'll go with the exact explanation. They're creating clones so that Mitsuka, she is the highest level of ESP powers, level 5. But they believe the nebulous organization, dark spooky science organization, governmental, who knows? They believe they can create a level 6 out of this random psychopath, I guess. They got a random psychopath from the streets, and we're like, hey, we can make this guy a god. And the way they're gonna do that is by feeding him Misaka clones. Just battle after battle with lower tier Misaka clones until eventually he ascends, I guess. It's kind of stupid.
I mean, it's trial by fire, more you fight stronger and stronger things until,
And I kind of wish that he was like absorbing their powers, but it's more so it just seems like, oh, he's testing their metal against them, and he has to push himself. But we see like one fight, it's not pushing himself at all. So I don't know what he's supposed to gain from these experiences if it's not pushing himself, but he's also not like absorbing any extra power or anything. So it's just, I guess, video game experience is the system we're going off of. Where it doesn't look, you can kill 1,000 boars and you'll level up. All right, you just got to keep fighting those boars. I know the details aren't great, but broad strokes, I like the idea of like trying to save your own clones, and even like what a kind of weird experience that would be. It has a lot of like thematic resonance that's possible. Just the idea of clones opens itself up to many different themes that thus far haven't really been explored, but could be, and that'd be interesting. Right now, the only theme is the most stereotypical theme of any like mass created personhood, and that's, oh my god, what if they are actually kind of people? And sure. But like that's a fine theme, but it's also in literally everything that has to do with clones or robots or AI or any of that shit. And so you got to do something else with it or add more. And they kind of just don't, which is disappointing. But the powers are kind of deep. By powers, I mostly mean just Misaka's, because that's mostly all we've seen. Remote control that can control. So we've seen Adam Sandler from Click. We've seen Misaka, who's Magneto and can do a railgun. We've seen plush bombs. I don't know if that's a particular power or if it's just like a thing they got. Teleportation. And then the random psychopath who's going to ascend. I don't know, just strong telekinesis or something. I don't know.
It's vector manipulation, but yeah.
What the fuck do you mean vector manipulation? I need you to describe to me. All right, so vector manipulation. So you're going to be able to change the direction and magnitude that things are moving.
Yeah.
That's telekinesis, motherfucker. You explain to me right now in any way that vector manipulation and telekinesis are different. One way.
I mean.
Oh, is it just a shitty science-y way to pretend that it's something different and new? Yeah, fuck you. Get the hell out of here.
Look, man, I'm sure the Railgun fans will be coming after us in this episode to tell us exactly how the powers are different and more specific.
And then we get a couple episodes where Misaka is taking down the organization's cloning facilities, mostly off-screen. Mostly just off screen. Who needs to see it? And slice of life nonsense that unfortunately is very bad. And I cannot emphasize how much I love slice of life and how much I'm a defender of slice of life. Guys, you know this of me. It's not good. And then they're like, oh man, from 20 facilities down to like 2. There's only 2 left. And they finally show us one. Because it's the battle with Plush Bomb Girl. The pacing is absolutely fucked. I have no idea why it decides to show us the things it does. Because here's the thing. The pacing is fucked because it's rushing through the sort of dark action mystery, right? It's fucking zooming through that off screen for the most part. While on screen, it is very slowly doing fuck all with the slice of life sequences. And that's a lot of whiplash because it leads to me feeling like, hey, wouldn't it be a more compelling story if we saw more of what we gave a shit about, and it doesn't need to be action-packed the whole time, right? We could even have moments where we're focused on other characters. Other shows do this very well. Other, like, prestige shows. If you want an anime, Odd Taxi. It showed little bits of humanity in so many characters and interwove it beautifully. You look at prestige shows like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, right? Sure, those have some super intense, crazy moments. And they also have some lighter, but more just enjoyable and casual moments with their ensemble cast. You look at BoJack Horseman, that's great at that. Like, it's possible to accomplish these things. I'm not saying it should be heavy and action-packed the whole time, but I'm saying, man, the balance they strike might be the worst one possible.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you on that when it comes to this anime. Like, if anything, Rem, it sounds like this story would be much more interesting for you in its original form as a manga or light novel, because you're reading it and you won't have to deal with the weird anime pacing issues.
Yes, yeah. Like, oh man, you could cut out so much from these 8 episodes. Once again, I feel like a good take, these 24 episodes, all right? If the fans think any episodes have no redeeming value, or like there's an arc that's absolute shit or whatever, we can cut that entirely, take whatever remains, condense all of that into a 100-minute long movie, and I think that'd be a really good movie. Where it's just like the best bits all coming together, rewrite some like transitions and things like that. Because I think there's something interesting there. The anime just doesn't like showing it.
Oh no, Rem. You've been cucked by Misaka.
If anything, Rem. I haven't been cucked by Misaka. I've been cucked by all of her friends.
Because Misaka's the one you're interested in.
Yeah, the number of times we'll have something like action-packed and interesting open up an episode, and then we will cut for like 5 minutes to her friends at their tea table talking about nothing. I can't. And like, oh, cute girls doing cute things. They need actual personalities, my brother. They need to be, or like fun activities, or just ways to distinguish them more. I don't. Maybe they all showed up in season 1 and they had amazing characters that they're just hoping you know by now.
I mean, that is kind of what they're going off of, yeah.
In which case, it is a shame that they thought they could just rest on their laurels and be like, you'll remember that these characters were good, and just kind of assume they still are. I'm here to tell you, nope, they're trash. They might have had good moments in season 1. That's possible. They sure as hell don't have good moments in the beginning of season 2. They just don't. And that's disappointing. Yeah, this show, it's a shame. It's a shame, Sean.
It's a shame that you have to be so grumpy on Christmas, Rem. What will the birds think?
Look, I would love to be holly jolly and merry. I would love all of that. It's not my choice. It ain't my choice.
Look, man, our Patreon decided that this is what we needed to show you. And honestly, I think it was a good decision, because it has been a mystery of a reference for you for literal years, and they wanted you to understand where they're coming from. And this franchise has a very dedicated fan base.
I mean, look, with all the love and respect in the world, I don't know if I needed to watch any of this show to figure out, all right, a girl has clones, and the clones, sometimes but not always, speak in third person and then reflect on what they've said. And why do they do that? I don't know if there's a good reason. It's unique and interesting. It has a bit of charm to it. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, but at its core, I can see it's a solid formula for something. I just don't know if it belongs in this show. Show, there's too much going on and not enough.
God, I wasn't anticipating your biggest issue with the show to be the fact that it's essentially blue balling you.
Because it's look, there's one thing if a show is just straight trash from start to finish, all right? That I'll deal with. That's whatever.
Right.
But when a show looks at me and is like, hey, got something pretty neat, and I'm like, oh, that is pretty neat. And it's like, you want some? And I'm like, sure, I'll have some. And then it drops it into the fucking storm drain. And I'm like, why did you do that? You had a neat thing. And it's like, nope, it's gone now. I'm like, but what? Then what are we? Why have you done this? Did you ruin the good thing just to hurt me? Because I can't understand any other reason.
Well, hey, Rem.
If they wanted to make a good product or a better product, they wouldn't have ruined the good thing.
You know, Rem,
so I can only imagine it was done to hurt me.
Rem, I feel kind of bad. I feel real sad for you, Rem. Hey, Rem, would it make you feel better if I just got you a box set of the manga so you could read through it and see the story that you actually want to see without all the nonsense in between?
Sean?
Yeah?
You've heard about my experiences on the Shonen Flop podcast. I don't know how to read manga.
I know, that's why I'm trying to train you.
It doesn't,
like a dog.
No, but it just doesn't. My brain isn't built for graphic novels. All right, it's just not. It just give me words or give me pictures. I struggle with both.
Well, I mean, there are light novel versions, so I could just find the light novels and send them to you.
Oh fuck! But long story short, I guess I understand the joke now. So there's that.
Oh yeah, the first light novel is only 192 pages. That's child's play for you. Don't worry, Rem. We'll give you a chance to get all the Railgun content that you're missing out on without all the nonsense cut in. Because like I just feel bad for you, Rem. I'm just here to make you happy, bud.
Look, I'm fine. I'm gonna be just fine.
I don't know, man. I feel like this is important. I feel like the birds really want you to understand where they're coming from on this one.
Hey, the birds are ecstatic because we watched the 8 episodes and I nailed a wrestling quiz in the pre-banter. The birds are ecstatic, and all of us, patrons and non-patrons alike, are very grateful to Farmer Weeb.
Yes, for being very kind and donating. All for the us watching a silly little show. A silly little show that, once again, I have to emphasize, just has absolutely left Remington wanting more, but not sure if he really wants it.
Well, I want more from the show. I do not want more of the show.
I see. But either way, I think that's a very successful Christmas on our part, and I can't wait for all the responses we're going to get from the Railgun fan base, because man, oh man, once people figure out we have a P.O. box, I have a sneaking suspicion.
Oh God, it's a waste of money. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just hoping, hey, you know, that with this, we close out 2024. It's been a hell of a year on this podcast. Let's, as always for me, hope that next year has better anime.
Look, man, as somebody who just sat through the 12 asterisk days of April Fools, you know, Hey,
and speaking of, and to any non-patrons, great news. There is so much extra content. I cannot emphasize the shit that I pulled for the 12 days of April Fools. If you want a dozen bonus episodes, just all of this extra content foisted upon you, all right? It's high quality shit. $5. And then you get this year's, last year's, the year before that, tons of pre-banters and extra bonus content. It's a good deal. If you want to just enjoy our weekly episodes normally, that's fine. But if you want a little bit extra, you can't go wrong.
Yep, and, you know, this is the one time a year we actually actively shill because, well, one day Rem will have health insurance and I can afford therapy. That's the end goal of this. That's the end goal.
Yeah. I should also shill something that was announced for patrons but was not announced to the rest of our lovely listeners.
Yes,
because it was
your grand effort to get
Fools.
away from me in the content creation sphere.
I have started a horror-themed YouTube channel, so if you like spooky media, and like psychology, philosophy, and all that discussed in that context, then you can check it out, youtube.com/@RemingtonChase. Very simple, very straightforward. It's got some spooky good shit. So if you're interested, check it out. Regardless, don't worry, I'm still gonna be trapped here in the anime verse. So it's not a replacement, it's just an addition.
It's an addition, and I highly recommend giving it a watch because it's some good shit. Some good shit right there.
Hell yeah.
But I guess with that in mind, Rem, before we go, do you know what the MAL score for the second season of Railgun is?
Oh God,
This is odd territory for you, so I'm curious to see what you have.
All right, so it's the second season.
Yes.
My perception of like how popular or beloved it is so skewed because it's been kind of omnipresent with me for literal years.
Correct.
Because of the jokes, but I don't know how well that reflects the general public of weebdom. And it has its flaws, but at the same time, it was during dark times, and so everybody could have loved that shit. I think this is going to be like a 7.95.
That your final answer?
Sure, why not? It's a rough one, so I won't overthink it.
Well, just to put things in perspective for you then, the first season of A Scientific Railgun had 293,000 ratings, and that originally aired in 2009. So just a couple of years after it started, being written, kind of puts some things in perspective.
Yeah.
That one is sitting nice and pretty at a 7.65.
Okay.
Whereas season 2 only has 210,000 ratings, and that one started airing in 2013. But season 2 of A Certain Scientific Railgun S specifically, is sitting nice and pretty at 8.01.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, I was quite close.
Yeah. Like, so there's only two ways a second season can go, especially in anime fandoms. It's either, oh man, the season's way better than the first because it builds off of everything in the first season and adds on to it, and then the rating goes up, or they horrifically fuck something up, like dramatically, and the ratings tank. Yeah,
and I would say even if it doesn't necessarily improve on the first season, if it's just like a continuation that's about on par, it will also increase just because then you only have the people who are interested still watching.
Exactly. So it's essentially, it's at the point where the diehard fans are more vocal and there aren't many haters who are willing to, watch the second season if they didn't vibe with the first. So really, it's a very well-beloved second season, but you're correct in your analysis that the things that people love the most are the actual, like, core plot points of the story, rather than a lot of the inane slice of life stuff. There are some people who really enjoy the inane slice of life stuff, but that's because they had 24 episodes prior to this to help them be accustomed to it.
Yeah.
But for you, Remington, we'll just have to figure out a way to get you the story in a more condensed way.
We don't have to do that.
But Rem, it seems important. You just seem so sad, and nobody should be sad on Christmas, Rem.
You don't need to show me different variations on the thing I wasn't a fan of. You can just show me things I'll be a fan of. That's also an option.
But there's something here, Rem. I know there's something special. We're gonna make you the biggest. We're gonna make you the biggest Misaka fanboy yet.
Oh no.
So with that in mind, final question for you, Rem. Any chance you'd want to consume any more Scientific Railgun, or maybe a certain magical index, considering that this is a spin-off of that show?
No, I'm good. I'm fine.
Can't wait till we do it anyways, because people will want to see it.
Fucking hell.
So with that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in, and Merry Christmas! If you enjoyed listening to Remington finally understand a joke after years of having it be shouted in his face, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review. They mean the world to us and do read every single one. And if that is not enough for you, twitch.tv/anime out of context, where myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games very poorly, or Remington's new lovely YouTube channel. And if that is still not enough for you, patreon.com/anime out of context, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus content, especially including the 12 Days of April Fools, and have the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who are we thanking this week?
As always, we would like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who are threatening us with a coin in their palm, ready to railgun our asses And on that list we have Sean loves to be railgunned, especially by Judy.
Okay, listen. I was laughing until that happened.
Thumpity thump, look at Judy go.
But wait, that's just thank our listeners, please.
Oh fuck. On that list we have Rem and Sean make sweet, sweet love, says Mitsuka. 010, Yokeling Hokel, Yanrei Neko, Wolfire 56. Where's our DBZ review, you ginger fuck? Wes Kane, welcome to Anime in Full and Complete Context, the show where we're skipping season 1 to meet the sisters, says Mitsuka. We wish you a Merry Rismas, we wish you a Merry Rismas, we wish you a Merry Rismas, and a brain rot goon year. Mary, says Mitsuka, excited. Watching Requiem for Spoonman at 0.5 speed. Waiting for Rem to like sports anime, says Mitsuka. You'll be waiting for a while. Waffles not included. Variant, totally good. Titan CNH. This is for the bird, says Mitsuka. The Susanator. The Spoonman's Thousand Island Stare. The Flying Spaghetti Monster. The Danish Viking will conquer the world with Roro Zoro as my navigator. The capybara hopes she's not too late, says Mitsuka. The bird's name is Cat, Mitsuka says, bemused at her own joke. Let me say, the best part of the joke is the reflection, the self-aware reflection upon what they've said and their tone. That's the good part. Has no place in Fairy Tales 100 Girlfriends. Turban, Sweden is not cold, it's only negative 25 degrees Celsius, says Mitsuka. Super Zoo, Stacy's mom. Sean wants to give Spoonman a thank and yang. Sean tested Rem's rainbow, says Mitsuka. Sean show Rem Kaguya-sama, dubbed and My Life is Yours. Sean's social security is 777694420. You nailed it. How'd you get it so spot on?
Yeah, no, fucking nailed it. Congratulations.
And as we all know, Sean's email address is fuck my ass and call me Daddy Rem, my little peg champ.
Stop it, you.
Oh, Sean ruined my happy sugar life when he fucked birds and fucked bad, says Mitsuka. Sean, I ran from science class to the junkyard to tell you I don't care how far apart our manufacture dates are. I love you. Sean goons to Makama cosplays on Twitter. Sean cut my hand off in practice, says Mitsuka, level 6. Seraphim the Shark Plushie, Ryan Moody, Ross Palmer, Rhiannon Williams. Remington used the deer crackers of liberation. Remington loves birds a bit too much, says Mitsuka. Remington is right. Rem uses the drums of liberation. Free all weeps from bad anime. Rem hit rock bottom is still on top of Sean. Rem doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. Rem can twist my mommy milkers and Sean can watch. Red Venom.
What?
Raptor King says, please don't fuck birds, says Mitsuka. There's lots of talk about fucking birds.
Yeah, I don't
There's lots of talk about either of us fucking the birds.
Like, if anything, we're helping the birds. Like, I don't see.
Well, all right, don't label your fucking birds as helping them, all right? It's a selfish act.
Okay, we're not. There's no fucking of the birds.
Oh, God. Professor Fox, PJ Turtle, Paco Musco. No, there has to be another hamster, says Mitsuka. Next week's collab with Shonen Flop will end with someone eating the icky cookie. I have to imagine that's a Flop reference. I don't remember any icky cookie.
Yeah, I'm a little behind on Flop, so
I don't know what the Flop boys are doing with their icky cookies.
I don't either. Hey, gang, you good?
All I know is Obama, all right? That's all I know.
The Obama icky cookie.
My favorite dinosaur is the Triceratops. Mitsuka says Mikasa. Mikeka 7 Hierto. Make Remy Boy watch Kino's Journey, the 2003 one, the good one. Macaroni Uchiza, Lucky Stars the King of Moe, Link Joe Curl, Leonard 98, Cassidy. Joining for the Chuckle Fuckmas, says Mitsuka. Jax, Jam Hands, Jake Dent. I'm a problem child, says Mikasa. I'm an Accelerator fan, says Mitsuka. I will never get more Ace of the Diamond, now I cry. I lust for Sean's little nipples, says Mitsuka. What? I hope a patron revolt interrupting Sean, Remington, and Dylan's schedule doesn't make their December worse, hopes Mitsuka. I've heard what is happening. It looks like it is finally my turn, says Mitsuka, appearing with superb timing. I can't believe I've made an account for this. Help the bird, says Mitsuka. Glenn Michael Dolan. Fern the festive fern, says Mitsuka. Farmer Weeb wants to thank everybody for doing it for the bird, says Mitsuka. Erica McCorkle. Elijah and the Bear, says Mitsuka. Don't shock the hamster, says Mitsuka. Dan Madrid, says Mitsuka. Darth Gator. Danielle Riot. Daddy Rem, tell me a bedtime story, says Mitsuka. Cut myself and scream for their insanity. Comrade JC. Cheese monkey means Kasafe in German, says Mitsuka. Cat girls are best girls, so give me them cute little paws. Rock hard for Jew dudes, that's right, this is what you get, my super laser piss. Boring Siren. Blake Star. Blackout drunk before butt stuff, says Misaka. Bitter dulce like the Spanish word for candy D, you dumb bitch. Bento Kato, and every day that raven comes to visit, says Misaka. AJ Tunnels, Aishagachi. Alios, a moe piece of trash. I will be on episode 341, look behind you. What the, says Misaka, reading about LTS history. yeah.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
This is, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. We know. We know.
We're
We're surrounded by it. We get
Show
it.
Rem a certain scientific railgun, you cunt, says Misaka. And now we move on to the boy wizard tier. What are they going to get this week, Sean?
Oh, man. They're going to get a scientific theory, my guy.
Okay, perfect. On that list we have, whoops, I forgot to change my username for a month and called Sean a cuck for a month.
You get the theory of gravity.
Weak Sumshay asking for Darling in the Franks.
I mean, you just get the concept of hypotheses. There you go. There you go. Look, man, it's hard to find just a pure list of scientific theories, as it turns out. That was just the first thing that popped in my head, you know? Let's see.
There's so many you could have got. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
hey, look,
all
man,
right.
Wikipedia failed me. That's okay.
Recite.
You're going to get the theory of spontaneous generation.
Truckoon, operator number 42.
You're going to get the theory of Linsenkoism. I can't remember how to pronounce it. It's fine.
Together,
Transmutation of species. That's what it is.
Everyone together. Come on, let's have some fun, says Misaka.
Vitalism.
That mouse girl.
Maternal impression.
Tails explains everything that happened to the man.
Let's see. Performationism.
Spoon Man the aristocrat.
Recapitulation theory.
Spooky scary Sammy K sees you shiver it with anticipation.
Telogamy?
Silent secondary.
I'm not going to give them this one because I don't think giving somebody scientific racism is going to be a great choice. I feel like that's going to just cause problems. Let's go with Mendelean genetics.
Scourge, best $20 spent, LMAO.
Germline theory.
Samantha loves you, Daddy Sean.
Energeticism.
Norikaza, the birds are voting Rem for the next Russian czar, says Misaka. I make music.
Caloric theory.
Monogatari is a masterpiece, Misaka said with a posed look.
Classical elements.
Misaka thinks Sean will want to show Railgun as after April Fool, says Misaka, while Misaka runs around.
Electrochemical dualism.
Misaka thinks Rem needs to watch Railgun essays, Misaka, as Misaka nods in agreement.
Phlogiston theory.
Misaka is a regulation listener that used to listen to Face Jam, but now listens to 100% Eat, says Misaka.
God, poor Farmer Weeb's wallet. My Christ.
But very happy birds.
Very happy birds. Radical theory.
Mike.
Nascent state.
Miguel DeLeon.
Polywater.
It's your boy, Skinny Penis.
Emission theory of vision.
It's time for the last order, says Misaka, as Misaka nods in agreement.
Ptolemy's law of refraction.
It's December and time for the sister, says Misaka, as Misaka decorates the tree.
Luminiferous aether.
Hopping on the Monogatari train, because why not?
Contact tension.
Hidden Otaku.
Emitter theory.
Dracula United member Captain Beagle Boy.
Electromotive force history.
Crimson Reapers just because of the scythes.
Balance of nature.
Carver 271.
Catastrophe theory.
Butler Rat heard Railgun S2 for the bird, says Mitsuka from afar, but also Gunbuster do be busting guns, but also have fans busting nuts.
Appropriately, chaos theory.
Blood Cell thinking about changing his name to Power Cell, but is worried about the mitochondria joke, says Mitsuka.
Atomic theory.
Beethoven 1201.
The geocentric universe.
Anime physics, E equals M titty squared, says Mitsuka.
The Copernican system.
Animated Z.
Heliocentric universe.
Also, you get the big hole.
Aristotelian dynamics of the celestial spheres superseded by the elliptic orbit and Kepler's laws of planetary motion. There we go.
Allfather is helping Farmer Weep support the bird, says Mitsuka, changing Allfather's Patreon name for an entire month.
Static universe theory.
And now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Sean, as Joey Wheeler, will tell you a kind of clone that you're gonna get, and I'll tell you what Christmas activity you'll do with your clone. We start with, this episode is brought to you by hornyforhemtaro.com.
Hilariously, Dylan did buy that URL.
It's true. To our lovely listeners, it either links back to the podcast or to Sean's OnlyFans.
So you're just guaranteeing they click on it regardless. Because I know that's a hot, sought-after thing. Happy holidays, here's my OnlyFans.
It is. So what kind of clone are they getting?
That clone's gonna be, it's gonna be the classic, evil clone. You know? You, but nefarious. But not like in a violent evil, like a, haha, I'm the evil clone kind of way, you know? Like a Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah. You guys are gonna have a snowball fight, but it's actually gonna be a snowball war, where it's gonna be extremely tactical. You're gonna have a bunch of different soldiers. You're gonna have snow tanks. All right, it's gonna be a whole thing. Next up, we got Rowdy-O.
You're going to get the Rule 63 clone, so it's a clone of you, just with your gender swapped around.
Look, you are not going to fuck your clone, all right? You're going to take an ice bath so that you rid such thoughts from yourself. Next up, we got, don't worry, the devil won't come in you. I found his satanic condom.
Okay, what kind of clone could I give you? Alright, you're going to get the, what clone tropes are there? You're going to get the Misaka clone of yourself, essentially, yeah?
And you two are going to steal the devil's pitchfork, create Frosty the Snowman, and then continue a cycle of burning him down and melting him with the devil's pitchfork, then recreating him, putting the hat back on to reanimate him, only to melt him again. It is a vicious cycle.
Weirdly horny, too.
Next up, and last but not least, we have Decapitate Kuroko, says Misaka.
Seems a bit violent, but, alright. Your clone is gonna be, it's gonna be a clone of you, but successful.
You are gonna be doing, a Secret Santa, but it's just you and your clone. And good news is you're gonna get a much more expensive gift than they do, but it will also, like, you'll be like, oh, this is a better gift and I'm happy about that, but I still, like, that also makes me feel a little bit bad. You know what I mean.
I feel really bad for putting them on blast with that one. I'm sorry.
Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter, or send an email onto anime@context@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do 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 do.